Alright guys, we're going to look over another set of composite figures, and this time they're giving you a couple of statements. It says there, JC created a figure by drawing a right triangle next to a rectangle. Okay, so let's do that first. Let's draw the figure. That way it'll help out seeing a visual of what they're talking about. So it says there, a right triangle next to a rectangle. So I'm going to put there, okay, a right triangle. Okay, so I'm not going to go to actual size. I'm just going to draw a right triangle. Okay, next to a rectangle. So this is a right triangle, and next to it is a rectangle. So then I'm going to put a rectangle right next to it. Okay. And so now we have a triangle next to a rectangle. Now we can keep reading because I can see a visual with the first sentence. It says there, the base of the triangle. So the base of the triangle is 15 centimeters. So the base of the triangle, well, that's the base right here. So this is 15 centimeters. The height of the rectangle. So the height of the rectangle and the height of the triangle are both 10. So that means that the height of the rectangle, which is this one, or this one, they're both the heights. This could be the height of the rectangle. Well, this can be the height of the triangle, or height of the triangle here also, and the rectangle, both same one, because they're sharing a side. And so now I look at the next sentence. The base of the rectangle is 20. So then I'm going to put here, okay, this is 20. Okay. All I have to do is, okay, if I have a rectangle and a triangle, I know according to my formula, if I go to the front of the formula chart, it shows me this. And I see there, a triangle is base times height divided by 2. A rectangle is just base times height. So then I'm going to go here and say, well, for the rectangle, all I have to do is base times height. So base times height, 20 times 10. Okay, 20 times 10 gives me the area of the rectangle. And now this one here, this is the triangle, and so this is the area is equal to base times height divided by 2. Okay, the base is 15, and I know the base and height have to touch each other at a right angle, so I wouldn't use this guy. It'd be these two. So base times height, so then 15 times 10 divided by 2. And so once I have both answers, I'm going to add them. So let me do base times height. This is going to give me 20 times 10 is 200. So 200 square centimeters. Okay, that's one area. Okay, I'm going to highlight that area. That's the area of the rectangle. Okay, which is the rectangle is this one. Okay, that's the rectangle. Now the area of the triangle, which is this one. Okay, that's base times height divided by 2. 15 times 10 is 150. 150 divided by 2 is 75. And so this is 75 square centimeters. And so that's the area of the triangle. And so what I'm going to do is both areas, I'm going to add them together. So I'm going to add 200 plus 75 gives me 275 square centimeters. Okay, and just remember the units matter. Okay, 275 square centimeters, which is the answer. Okay, let's look at number 6 there. Again, a figure is composed of a triangle and a rectangle. Once again. Okay, so I'm going to draw me a picture of that because I want to see a visual. I want to see a visual of what they're talking about. It just helps me out. So let me draw a triangle. And so I'm going to put a triangle. And it's just not a triangle, and it's next to a rectangle. So let's make a rectangle right next to it. And so there. Now I have a triangle and a rectangle next to each other, and I know together they make a figure that resembles a trapezoid, and it is a trapezoid together. That's what it is. Okay.
Caleb, Lucio,
So now
please
let's
report to the office. Caleb, Lucio, please report to
write
the
some
office.
numbers there that goes the dimensions of the figure. The height of the triangle and the height of the rectangle both measure half an inch. So this would be like 0.5. Okay. So the height of the triangle and the height of the rectangle. So that means that this is 0.5 inches, and this is also 0.5 inches because they're parallel lines. Besides the height of the rectangle, the height of the triangle. Okay. And it says there the base of the triangle and the base of the rectangle both measure 5 1/3 inches. So I can convert that 5 1/3 to 5.33 with a repeating bar, or I can just use 5.3 for this problem. 5.3. And so that means the base of the triangle and the base of the rectangle, so they're both the same. So this is 5.3 inches, and this is 5.3 inches. Okay. Once again, I'm going to use the same equations. I look there, okay, triangle, base times height divided by 2, rectangle, base times height. So I'm going to multiply it. Here, this one would be base times height, or 5.3, because that's my base 5.3, with the decimal, 5.3 times the height, which is 0.5. Now just remember, this is not drawn to scale, okay? Not drawn to scale. And so now you do 5.3 times 5.5. So put it here, 5.3 times 0.5. 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 1 plus 1 is 26. Two numbers to the right of the decimal. I can see there 1, 2. So 1, 2. And so I get 2.65. So this is 2.65 square inches. That's the area of the rectangle. Now I need to find the area of the triangle. Well, the same thing, except this one is area is equal to base times height divided by 2. Base times height. So again, 5.3 times 0.5, except this time you're going to divide by 2. So 5.3 times 0.5, you did it here. That was 2.65, but now you're going to divide that number by 2. And so I'm going to divide 2.65 divided by 2. Well, you know what, let me put it over here. I need more space. 2.65 divided by 2. Okay. So 2 goes into 2 one time. And so you get a 2, you bring down the 6. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 times 3 is 6. You bring the 5 down. 2 goes into 5 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. You add a 0. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So we get 1.325. Let's round up to the nearest tens. So 5 or more, we add 1 more. 4 or less, we let it rest. So we're going to have 1.3. And so now this is 1.3 square inches. And so what am I going to do with both areas? I'm going to add them. So I'm going to put there 2.65 plus 1.3. I get 5. 6 plus 3 is 9. 2 plus 1 is 3. And so I get 2.395 square inches, which is my answer. And I have to look at my answers, and one of them has to be close to that. I mean, like really, really close. Okay? So think about which one is really, really close. Look at the next one there. A painted design on a tile is composed of a square and 2 right triangles. So look at that. A square and 2 right triangles. Okay? Again, I want to draw myself a visual of that. So a square, I'm going to put a square. Okay. And 2 right triangles. Okay, a square and then, a square and then 2 right triangles. If they want 2 right triangles, I need right, that means 90 degrees, so I'm just going to put on the side like this. Okay. 2 right triangles. That's a right angle there. Okay. And just remember, I'm drawing them to scale, and that's another right angle there. And as you can see, together, all three figures make a trapezoid. Okay. So now let's see the dimensions of this figure. It says there, each side of the square and the height of each triangle measure 4.5. So each side of the square, so let's look at the side of the square and the height of each triangle. So 4.5. So that means each side, and if it's a square, we know all sides are the same. So that means this, and these are the heights of the triangle. So I'm going to put here 4.5 inches. 4.5 inches. Okay. And then it says there, the base of each triangle measures 6. Okay. The base of the triangle is this guy. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is solve the square first. And I know a square is right there. Side squared, or we can use base times height because the square is a rectangle. So we can use base times height. So then I'm going to put here, okay, the area is base times height for the square. So base times height. Base times height. So 4.5 times 4.5. Okay. That's why you see here side squared. 4.5 squared, or 4.5 times 4.5. Okay. That's for the square. So 4.5 times 4.5. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 2 is 22. It is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 2 is 18. We add those two together now. These two rows. 5, 2, 10. That's 20.25. 2025. There's two numbers to the right of the decimal. 1, 2. And so we get 20.25 square inches. That is one of my answers. Okay? 20.25. That's not the final answer because all I did was find the area of the square. I need to find the area of the triangles now. And the triangles, if you look at the equation, half of base times height, or base times height divided by 2. And so that's what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to use area is equal to base times height divided by 2. My base times height, or base times height. So 6 times 4.5 divided by 2. Okay. Can you mentally divide 6 divided by 2? And you should be able to, and that's 3. And so now I canceled the division, so now I just multiply. So 4.5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. So I get one number to the right of the decimal. So that means that each one of these is 13.5 square inches. That means that's 13.5, and this is another 13.5 square inches. Okay, so you have two of them that are 13.5. So this one here is 13.5, but so is this one. That one is also 13.5. How are you going to find the total area of the figure? Well, what does total mean? Total means add, so you're going to add them together. So you add this plus that, gives you your final answer. Okay. Let's look at the next one there. The front of a house is composed of a trapezoid and a rectangle. So again, let's draw the figure. So I'll draw a trapezoid, and let's see here. Maybe I can do a nice trapezoid here. Well, I might have messed up a little bit. Okay, so that's trapezoid. There you go. And then we're going to draw a rectangle. Sorry, not building rectangle. Okay. So we're going to draw a rectangle. So then I'm going to easiest thing to do. Well, let's just draw it here at the bottom, okay. Or at the top, but I'll draw at the bottom. Okay, and so we have that. And so I have trapezoid and I have a rectangle. And so let's see what the dimensions are. The height of the rectangle is 12. Okay, so the height of the rectangle is 12. So that means this is the base. That means this is the height. So that's 12 feet. Okay, now let's find the rest. The base of the rectangle and one base of the trapezoid each measure 30. So the base of the rectangle, if this is 30, well, by rule, a rectangle has two parallel lines or congruent lines, and so that means this guy is also 30. And it happens to be one of the bases of the trapezoid. That's why it says there, the base of the rectangle and one base of the trapezoid each measure 30. And now it says the height of the trapezoid is 15. So the height of the trapezoid is not this line. That's not the height. That's not the height of the trapezoid. The height is the one that comes straight down to make a 90-degree angle there. And so the height is 15. And so now we look, and then its second base measures 10 feet. So remember, a trapezoid has two bases. There's one and there's the other. And so that one is 10 feet. Okay. First, let's find out the rectangle. Right? Rectangle means base times height. And then trapezoid means this one, or the way I like to see it, base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. And so that's what I'm going to use. First, let's find the area of this rectangle. This one here, area is base times height. So all I'm going to do is, okay, base times height, so I'm going to put it over here. So area is equal to 30 times 12. So I'm going to put there 30 times 12. 2 times 0, 0, 2 times 3 is 6. Put a placeholder, 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 3 is 3. So I get 360. So the area is 360 square feet. Okay, this is the area of the rectangle. So we found this area. Okay, and so now let's find the area of this trapezoid. And to find the area of the trapezoid, you're going to do the equation area equals base 1 plus base 2 parentheses times the height divided by 2. Okay. So obviously your bases are the ones that are opposite of each other, and they connect to the height at a 90-degree angle. So base, and they connect 90 degrees with the height. So base 1 equals 10, base 2 equals 30, and then the height is 15. And so I'm going to substitute that into the equation. Okay, in parentheses, the B1 and B2. So we're going to put there 10 plus 30 times the height, which is 15, divided by 2. Okay, 10 plus 30 is 40. 40 times 15 divided by 2. Can you mentally divide 40 divided by 2? You should be able to. That gives you 20. And so now I'm going to multiply 20 times 15. And so 20 times 15, okay, so 20 times 15, which gives me 20 times 15, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 2 is 10, with the placeholder, 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 2 is 2, and so Adam, I get 300, and so this is the answer for the trapezoid, 300, and so what I'm going to do now is add the area of the trapezoid plus the area of the rectangle. Add these two numbers together and you get your answer. Okay? Hopefully this helps you. Good luck. Adios.